Hi there, this is Professor Murray Gans from the Eastfield College Ant Lab here in Mesquite, Texas. Today's lesson is on organisms. So the very first question we need to ask is, what exactly is an organism?
An organism is, very simply, anything that's alive, any living thing. You're an organism, a dog is an organism, a fish is an organism, a tree is an organism, even your pet monkey is an organism. So anything that's alive is an organism. Now, let me give you two more terms here. The first one is biology. Biology is the study of life or the study of organisms. And a biologist is a person who studies organisms. I'm a biologist, and guess what? Right now, so are you, because we're talking about living things.
So now we know that an organism is any living thing. So a cat's an organism, a dog is an organism, you're an organism, a tree is an organism, the grass in your yard is an organism. But this brings up another question, and that is, what does it actually mean to be alive? How can we define alive? So here's what I'd like for you to do. I'd like for you and your classmates to take a few moments, talk to each other, and come up with a list, a short list of the characteristics of things that are alive. Now remember, don't just think about animals, think about plants too, because they're also alive. So go ahead and pause this video now, make your list, and when you've got your list, turn the video back on and we'll see how you did. As you can see, coming up with a list of the characteristics that make something alive is not the easiest thing to do. As a matter of fact, a lot of scientists disagree about what should be on the list. But there are some things that most scientists will agree all living things have. So let me show you that list right now.
All organisms require some form of energy. You know this because you run off of food. In order to have the energy you need to run and play, you have to actually eat food. Now plants don't eat food, but instead they can make their own food, and they do this using the energy of light. But regardless, all organisms require some form of energy. Another characteristic is that all organisms are made of these little compartments called cells. You can see in this illustration up here, this is actually a picture of human cheek cells from the inside of your mouth, and the little dots in the middle, those are the nuclei of the cells. Here's a picture of human red blood cells, and here's a picture of cells from an aquarium plant, and the little green dots here are where the plants actually make their own food. Those are called chloroplasts. Another characteristic is that organisms grow, but they do that by making more cells. Here's a picture of some cancer cells, one of these cells divided, and you can see them pulling apart here. We also have a picture of your muscle cells. This would be like the muscle in your arm. And these little blue dots here are the nuclei of the cell. And then we also have a picture here of the stem of a bamboo plant. Now the color has been added, but this is pretty cool because every one of these little circles, from the big ones to the small ones, are actually cells. So if you want to know something's alive, you look for these little compartments called cells. Another thing is, organisms reproduce and make more of the same kind. So dogs always make puppies. Snakes always make snakes. And if you plant a tomato seed, you can expect that a tomato plant grows from that. So organisms make more of the same kind. And the last one is, organisms respond to their environment. So organisms can respond to what we call stimulus. So this little guy is unhappy, he's probably hungry, or his diaper's wet. This little girl obviously is a little scared from going down a slide. Here we have a kitten who is responding to the movements of a goldfish by trying to get it out of the bowl. And even plants respond to their environment. This is a Venus flytrap about to eat a worm.
Let's take a second now and review what we've learned from this video. Number one, we know that organisms are living things. We also know that biology is the study of living things, and a biologist, like me, is someone who studies organisms. We also learned the 5 characteristics of living things. Living things are made out of cells, they use energy, those cells divide to make more cells, organisms reproduce to make more of the same kind, and organisms respond to their environment. In our next video, we'll be looking at the 5 major types of living things. Until then, this is Professor Murray Gans at the Eastfield College Ant Lab. See you soon.